It should be you, Crody. Please, for the love of God, don't
A few moments later.
like. Fucking idiots! This mother. Yeah, that's me. You may be wondering how I got there. My team getting absolutely obliterated by a guy in a suit flying around using a gunblade. Well, you see, it's a long story. And it all started in a forest. We find a guy with a clock for a head freaking out as a panther, a lion, and a wolf chase him down for something, a star of some form. Who is this guy with a clock for a head? Neither we nor they know. Their previous head and their memories attached, gone, as their life comes to danger from the trio. At least, until our heroes, our sinners, ride in on Limbus to save their manager Dante. And of course, they get promptly turned into dead corpses on the floor after arriving.
이건 대화로 풀 수
처음부터 말이 안 되는 싸움이라고 생각했는데.
다들 장난해? 난 시작도.
비장의 수라기보단 그저 별을.
Very unfortunate. But, luckily, a mysterious man with red eyes, who came with the sinners, then beats the crap out of the trio, sending them away, and Dante somehow revives all the sinners. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, it is, and that was literally just the introduction.
I'm in danger.
But not to worry, I have a PhD in informative yapping. We will get through this. We haven't even gotten into the setting of the city. Well, let's meet our merry band of misfits before we get into any world building. Now, first, Dante, our protagonist, the manager and local amnesiac. They don't know where they are, who they are, but they know they don't have free will as they are bound by contract for something they apparently used to care about a lot. Using their clock head, which does not come with a mouth, they can revive the sinners infinitely. The only drawback being he feels their pain every time they get revived. So however they died, he feels it. This is not very fun for him. Next up, and first of our sinners, is
이상이라고 하오. 속에는 이상이요.
Yi-san. Emo. Kind of a poet. A pretty smart guy. He doesn't say much, but when he speaks, you won't understand what he said. Next, second sinner, Faust.
파우스트예요. 당신이 인생에서 한 번 마주칠까 말까 하는 천재죠.
A genius, partly self-proclaimed. Builder of the bus. Speaker in third person. For some reason, despite being just a sinner, she somehow knows all the details about what's going on, people's contracts, and gets to tell people what to do, including our soon-to-be Met guide, who already gets to tell everyone what to do. This is not an important detail. Anyway, third sinner,
이 몸의 차례인가? 나는 돈키호테일세.
Don Quixote. Fixer lover. We will figure what a fixer is later. And believer in all things just. Also, very delusional, but enthusiastic. Sinner number 4,
요르슈쿠.
Ryoshu, my beloved. Doesn't say much. Very violent, also cool as fuck. Sinner number 5,
메르소, 그렇게 불러주시겠습니까, 관리자님?
Merceau. Big guy, waiting for orders, simple and reliable. Sinner number 6,
홍로라고 한답니다. 잘해보자고요, 우리.
Onglu. A bit ditzy. Kind, ish, and also pretty aloof. Sinner number 7,
히스클리프, 사람 박살내는 건 내 전문이지. 물론 내가 내킬 때만.
Heathcliff, a rough, aggressive, brute kind of a guy. A little scary, also very violent. Sinner number 8,
저를 이스마일이라고 불러주세요.
Ishmael, fairly professional, forward-thinking, reliable. Sinner number 9,
안녕, 로자야. 긴 이름도 있는데 정없어 보이니까 그냥 로자라고 불러줘.
Rodion, cheerful, bubbly, tall as fuck, and loves money.
Money, 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 money.
Sinner 11,
싱클레어예요. 에밀 싱클레어. 아, 번호는 11번.
Sinclair, a scaredy cat. Sinner number 12,
오티스입니다. 제 이름을 기억해 주십시오, 관리자님.
Otis, authoritative, no nonsense, bootlicker extraordinaire, seems kind of untrustworthy. And our final sinner, Sinner 13,
그래 고르다. 뭐 자고 있을 때 빼고는 편하게 부르라고.
Gregor, young guy, has a bug arm, is not very happy about it at all. You skipped Sinner 12. Oh, well, don't worry about that. Anyway, 2 more people that are very important to our crew before we are done doing introductions. First up, as has previously been seen and has been mentioned, the guide, Virgilius, has direct communication with our bosses and is responsible for getting our murderous band where they need to be. He also is a color fixer, the Red Gaze, and is clearly very strong. And lastly, but not least, Aaron, our bus driver. And that is all of our main characters. They all get along very well.
모분조도 모가지를 분질러야 조용해지지, 도라지 같은 새끼들. 이유 없는 폭력은 용서받을 수 없다네. 그대는 내가 응징하지.
아, 이럴 줄 알았어. 옷에 피가 튀었잖아. 저기, 꼭 내 앞에서 싸워야겠어?
Did I say they get along very well? I meant to say they tolerate each other. Kind of. To start off, at least. The sinners' personalities and how they'll interact over time will absolutely develop as we get through each canto and each intervallo. Think of them as subchapter in chapters. But before we can even get to the first chapter, we have not gone to the first chapter, we must make a mind-boggling long but important detour to talk about Project Moon. Developer of this game has 2 other, let's say, prequel games. They're not really prequels, but whatever. Those being Lobotomy Corporation and Libruana. Those games have a decent number of videos that discuss their stories and the characters in them, and what we will be focusing on is the shared world that all these games take place in. And that is the city. Alright, we don't have to do that twice. So, let's get into what exactly is a city. I keep on showing pictures. So, simply, actually no, firstly, the city is not a city. It's a country, or country-esque kind of thing. It is where most humans in this universe live. It is also a dystopian futurist type of setting. So, we got all the basics in here. Complicated and unclear history, futuristic technology that breaks all the laws of physics and borderlines on magic, a very overbearing, powerful government that basically makes everyone do what it wants at any given time, and who could forget the horrors beyond human comprehension. And there you go. That's your general overview. This is like more or less how you should generally look at the city, the setting, so on. But let's get into some actual details about the world. So, the city is made of 26 districts, each designated by a letter, A through Z, as shown on this lovely map. You may say, looking at this map, every letter is accounted for except for Z. Where is he? Good question. I don't have an answer for you on that one, so we're just going to move on. Each district that's shown is governed by its own megacorporation or wing. These corps are generally referred to, though, by the letter of the area they control. Think X Corp, L Corp, W Corp, so on. Each megacorporation is known for a particular singularity, or in other words, an invention that is very valuable. One singularity can focus on the ability of warping. Another can be the access and creation of clones. Another could be creating very great energy resource, and another could just simply be the ability to combine any two objects without question. What a singularity does and how it's applied can vary. One thing is always sure. How they work is fiercely guarded and not for anyone to know, lest there be major ramifications. Ominous? Great, it is. We're going to complete skirt over that now. Each district is made up of a nest and a back street. All fall under the purview, or in other words, governance, of their corresponding wing. Looking first at the back streets is where anyone who doesn't have a lot of money or is affluent lives. If you live in the back street, you live in effectively the wild, wild west. Not literally the west, but in the sense that if somebody were to decide to rob or kill you, or rob you of your organs after they kill you, no one's gonna stop them. Your life is in your hands, and unfortunately, because you're broke, that means your life is up for anybody to grab. The back streets, not very fun. Actually, just almost entirely awful. You don't want to live there. On the other hand, we have the nest, which is under direct protection of their corresponding wing. This is where your citizens with money and researchers who are also still citizens with money tend to live. It's just a nice area, to be honest. Great facilities, access to technology, better living conditions, not in immediate danger all the time. But notice I said not in immediate danger? You're not necessarily safe living in a nest. You still need to work like a dog to maintain your position. You still need to watch your back, as other citizens may deem it necessary to move you out the way to better secure their position in the nest. Life in any place in the city isn't good. But if I had to pick, me personally, I'm going to go live in the nest. I'm absolutely not spending a day in the back streets. Absolutely not. That all being said, we covered back streets, we covered nests, we gone over corporations a little bit. Now, who's at the top? Well, that would be that. Our largest company / government. This is made up of A, B, and C Corp, or, in other words, the head, the eye, and the claw. There's not a lot known about the head, its inner workings, what even goes on in any of those locations. But there are some things that are known for sure. The head has listed out a number of taboos, or in other words, laws, that everyone in the city must follow, from your CEO of your corporation down to your lowliest citizen in the back streets. Things such as no CP beings that are non-humans in the city, no AI with intelligence comparable to that of a human, no machines that have human-like bodies, no human resurrection of any kind, pay your taxes, no firearms up to a certain level of strength, and you can only have a singular clone of yourself for up to 7 days. Now, what happens if you break any of these laws? Immediate and utter destruction. You will die. There is no exception. There is no consideration. Death. plain and simple. Now, each district also has its own laws as given to the district by their corresponding corp. That is not guaranteed death, but I still wouldn't say commit a crime. That's that. Also, just be mindful, these are just example of some of the taboos in the city. These are not all of them, but let us be clear, killing people is not one of the taboos. So, free game.
Yay!
Lastly, but not leastly, let's cover some of the major groups of the city, just so you can get the last little piece of the general pie. First up, fixers. Fixers are either individuals or offices/associations of individuals who you pay to handle basically any problem in the city. You need protection, pay a guy to take care of you. Need info, pay a guy to go find it. Need something retrieved, pay a guy to go get it for you. The only real limit to what you can pay a guy to do in the city is how much money you have to pay the guy to do it. Individual fixers are graded 1 through 9. 9 being effectively a normal person, 1 being an expert among experts in their area of specialization. That said, there is a grade higher than 1, those being colors. The only difference between a 1 and a color really just comes down to a color has done something of such notoriety in skill and prowess that simply cannot be ignored as putting them above anyone else in the department. And so, you get a color and a cool little name attached. For example, the Black Silence, or Red Mist, Purple Tear, the Red Gaze, we know this guy, and so on. Offices are a step above just an individual fixer, because they see a couple of different fixers, probably in a local area, who get together and they handle whatever as a group. Associations are wide-spreading organizations across the city that basically operate or specialize in a particular form of task that they can be hired to take care of. Example, the Sync Association can handle direct combat. You gotta fight, you gotta handle, send that guy. Another example could be the She Association. She Association handles assassinations. Needs to buy assassinated, all that. So on and so forth. On the other hand, from the officialized business, in a sense, of fixers and associations, we have our syndicates, particularly our 5 fingers of the back streets. All 5 fingers have power that, I wouldn't say rivals a wing or wings, but they have a lot of power in the city. Each finger has its own style to it and has a bunch of subsidiaries that also have their own style but kind of fall in line with each individual finger. I would tell you, what makes each finger special, what's so interesting about them. But it's a little bit more fun when you see them and you just kind of pick up the vibes as you go along. So that basically covers everything you need to know to start the story and understand what's going on. There's a bunch more stuff that you can learn about the city, and we will learn it as we go along. There's actually a really big piece of information that's a recent development in the city that you probably need to know, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's just say everything else can be learned intuitively, and let's begin with Canto 1. Or at least that was the idea. So basically what happened was, this video got kind of long. I realized that the explanation section is very different from how I'll probably end up doing the whole story breakdown. And so I was like, well, this video is already 20 minutes. That Kanto's coverage is probably going to be another 10 to 15, possibly heading over to 20. So why not just make it its own separate video, especially since I want to be covering every Kanto and probably every Intervallo anyway, and it's already going to be a series and everything. So why not have the first video be like, either technically a separate introduction / just an introduction, and then every subsequent one can be like its own separated series Kanto coverage thing. So that's what we're gonna do. When this video comes out, I've already been working on the script and putting together the Kanto video, so that shouldn't take too long. But for right now, this is all you guys got. I'll be a better YouTuber in the future. And that's about it. All right, that's all. Doc is out. Peace.